Here I am in the remembrance site at Christchurch, New Zealand. Behind me is 185 white painted chairs, signifying the 185 people that lost their lives in the devastating earthquake in 2011. This city has been hit hard by grief and is in the process of rebuilding. Today in this program, we're going to be talking about grief and how in the midst of it, we can rebuild.
We speak to tens of thousands of young people every single year, and this show is about their stories.
So have any of you had anyone pass away close to you?
Yes.
and who was that, and how did you deal with that?
Well, it was quite hard though, because it was my great uncle. I've never had a grandfather, so he played that role for us, and he was like my mother's father and stuff, and he died about a month ago, maybe 2. It was quite hard, but I think I'm a bit of a heartless person. So like I can't express that sort of emotion comfortably, really.
Yeah, I mean, I have experienced it. I mean, it wasn't easy, but I guess I just surrounded myself with more family. I mean, I didn't seclude myself away. Kind of just made it worse if I did, or if I did try to. I mean, I do know a few people who did do that and it just didn't work.
Yeah, no, I've had my cousin pass away of cancer. So that was about 4 years ago now. She was only a teenager, so it's kind of hard to sort of think about that. You feel like real lucky that you haven't got that.
Oh yeah, I have.
Yep. How was that?
Oh, it's pretty tough, but you just got to move
Can I
on.
ask who it was?
Oh, it's my mum.
Far out. So how did you go dealing with that?
I just kind of moved on.
Yep.
What happens, happens. You can't really live life in the past. Shit happens, sort of thing.
Oh, it's pretty hard. Like, you don't want to be like emotional around your mates, but I was pretty emotional around family and stuff like that. I haven't really spoken to many people about it, but I've done a speech on it and stuff like that, just as something of respect to, and I hope like people can respect me about it if I sort of get a bit emotional about it.
My grandma, she passed away from dementia, and I was quite sad about it, and I talked to my family and my mum about it. Yeah, it was real like depressing, and then I thought like she's in heaven, so yeah, I was okay about it.
Talking about your beautiful daughter Tori and her amazing life, and I thought it'd be a great start to just tell us a little bit about her.
Well, Victoria was born in 1989. She was born with spina bifida, but what that meant was that she was born like a paraplegic. So she was born with an inability to use the bottom half of her body. And she, in the delivery suite, that there was all chaos when she was born, and they told us then pretty quickly that she had a very significant disability and that she probably wouldn't live, and that she'd probably pass away before she was 8 weeks old. And she defied the odds. I think as she got older through her years, the impact of her disability became greater. On the 28th of November 2012, it was a normal morning. We got up early to go to work, and my husband went in to wake her up, and she was, we thought, unconscious, and then we had to work pretty hard and call the ambulance, but she had passed away during the night. So yeah, that was pretty horrific, and so her very, very full but short life, which she surprised us at her birth, and she certainly surprised us at her death. But
How old was she when she passed away?
23.
Well, Ash, do you want to start by sharing kind of what's happened over the last number of years for you?
April of 2013, my dad got diagnosed with lung cancer. My dad and I, we had a very close relationship, and I'm like, if that got taken away from me, I'd know what I'd do with myself.
Yeah, sure.
He was going in for chemo, and he was having like some operations and stuff to try and get it fixed and stuff, but it was too late, and we couldn't really fix it after that. So there were days where I'd go to school and I was really upset. I was like crying, and my friends would just come up to me and they'd just hug me and they'd be like, "It's okay, Ash, like your whole family, you can get through it no matter what." Like, one afternoon I was at my friend's house and my mum called saying, "Ash, you need to come to the hospital. It's gonna happen sometime soon, we don't know when." And he was lying there, and I remember his eyes were a little bit open, but he wasn't speaking, but I knew he could hear everything I was saying to him, so I basically just told him it was okay to go. My brother and I and Mum would all be okay, and that was on the Tuesday, and then on the Friday he passed away that morning, and my mum comes into my room with my dogs and my brother, and they just said, you know what, I'm going to tell you. I'm like, yeah. So we saw it coming, but it was still, today, almost a year later, it's still hard to accept the fact that he's gone. I still hope that he's going to walk through the door.
Do you think teens that experience grief, that there's good support in that and amongst friendships or family, or do you think often it can be something that a lot of people just go through alone?
Well, I'm a lone ranger, so I'd do it by myself. But then definitely witness girls from school like losing parents and stuff, and there's a big support network around them.
No, I felt like I had no friends that understood the pain that I was going through. But yeah, I just talked to my best friend here, and yeah, we just sorted it out. So yeah, getting help was actually good. Going to the counsellor, going to someone to get help. Yeah, it actually helps.
You know, the grieving process is an interesting thing, and there's definitely ways to get through it, stronger or not. But I think, especially for males, it's so important to realise that talking about your feelings is so essential to avoid, you know, depression, anxiety, you know, feeling alone. The grieving process is something that can hit people in many different ways, and it's hit me in a bigger way than I thought it would in a lot of respects in my life, but it's definitely got me to who I am today.
I think there's been a common understanding that, you know, that she had kind of reached the end of her life well. Yeah. You know, she finished well, even though it was short. And I think, you know, as we've done 2 years now without her, even though the hole is massive, we know that she's safe.
What would you say to a young person watching today that says, yeah, I've had that loss, but I can't talk to mum or I can't talk to dad?
I would just say that you're not alone, and there's always someone else that has gone through the same thing, if not a similar thing that you have, and to just be as strong as you can. And if you're struggling with it, talk to someone, talk to a counsellor, talk to anyone, because it's never good to keep your feelings inside of you. I really think you should go to the school counsellor, because it's what their job is, like they know what they're doing. Yeah.
If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, share and subscribe. Also, check out these other videos on issues we've covered.